Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 497 of DrunkNerds podcast. As always, I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Dude, I'll tell you what, man. I'm as good as I'm gonna be. But at the same point, man, a lot of freaking gaming news happened this week. I'm highly
Mm-hmm.
excited to talk a lot about it because a couple of stealth announcements, a couple of things, Summer Games Fest happening stuff, a lot of things to talk about there. But mostly, I feel like my week has been okay to some extent, some ups, some major downs for some core aspects, but at the same point, it's like I am glad to just go forth and start recording during this time of the year, especially because it's that gamer Christmas, just like like
Mm-hmm.
Chef's Kiss of all this other stuff,
Oh
dude.
yeah,
How you doing?
yeah. I'm doing all right, Gables. You know what time of year it is?
Yeah.
It's the most hype fucking time of the year. So I figured it's only appropriate that I wear the hype hat. Let's fucking go, guys. Happy hype time, guys.
What's
I don't know.
hilarious? What's hilarious is
I
like
feel
you're
like
wearing
I
that
feel
hat, right? And
ridiculous.
all of a sudden, it's like you can hardly see it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a flat brim hat. I found it online and I'm wearing it. I don't like the blue undertone though. I don't like that. It's weird looking. Sorry for audio listeners. I'm wearing a hat that says hype
Yeah,
on
it
it.
would look kind of a bit
Uh,
better if it was the opposite, to where it was like blue and then the black tone, like on the
I
bottom of
like
it.
the black. I just wish it was like not the flat. I don't like the flatness of it. And then if it was just all black, that would have been great.
Yeah.
But anyways, sorry audio listeners. Like I said, I bought a new hat. It says in big letters on it, hype. Because I'm fucking hyped. Because it is goddamn gaming Christmas, kind of, sort of. Um, anyways, um, if you're here and watching us, thank you guys so much. Please, if you look down in the show notes, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, I can't watch this on Facebook. We have a Facebook page on there though. And it'll be part of those with all the other links to all the other places we're at: Twitter, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, all that. If you want to kind of see more stuff from us, we're doing a lot more on the YouTube channel right now. Especially this time, we're going to be doing a live react tomorrow it's Saturday night as we're recording this. Tomorrow, we're going to be live reacting to the Xbox Bethesda showcase. We won't be able to live stream it just because I don't have the greatest computer in the world.
Mm.
It just can't handle all that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna record it and then I'll post up immediately afterwards. And then later on that day, um, right afterwards we get over, we're gonna upload the podcast, then record a podcast of us going through our thoughts. So if you want to see our live reactions, it'll be on our YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Just go to youtube.com and search for DrunkNerds podcast. Pop up. Please like, follow, subscribe, comments, all that fun jazz. Really would appreciate it. We've had a nice little boost on the YouTube channel the last couple weeks. So in these live reacts, we've done a few live reacts as of late, and we've been doing some test ones too, going back watching some old E3 press conferences and having a good time with that. And I think once this is all over, I think we'll keep doing them. It's because they're kind of fun to go back in
Oh
time
yeah.
and watch some of these things. So maybe we just like every couple weeks, we sit down and we'll pick one out and watch them. I don't want to do them every week because we're gonna run out real fast. But maybe if we keep it to every 2-3 weeks, we put one out. It'll last us for a while because we got several conferences. If we'll get real desperate, we'll go back to watch the 2011 E3 Xbox showcase when we have to meet Skittles.
Oh
Skittles.
my god.
Fucking Connectimals. Goddamn that's the last one we're gonna watch because I really don't want to watch that one again. I watched that one live on Spike TV.
I did too, dude.
And I never want. The only time the crowd made noise is when they gave everybody a free Xbox One Elite or Xbox Elite.
From having to
It was
endure
like
that press
cool.
conference.
Remember how big of a deal that was when like it was like that was the first time it was on Spike TV, and we were
Yes.
able to actually because like, you never were able to watch them before. Like YouTube was barely a thing.
YouTube was barely a
No
thing.
one,
You could only watch it through
Twitch
like
wasn't a
say like
thing.
G4 or something like that at the time, but at the same point,
Yeah,
you would not be able to watch a lot of those major things unless by it was somewhere broadcasting on one of two specific channels.
yeah, yeah. It was you had to yeah. Those things were impossible to watch.
Mm.
In like you get to see you can maybe watch them like in clips the next day on like on GameSpot and IGN's website and like
Or game
you know
trailers,
but
you know.
game trailers. Yeah, but back then trying to watch videos on the internet was a bad time. But anyways, that's neither here nor now. Right now, it's 2022. Goddamn it, Gables. E3 is kind of quasi dead.
Mm.
But Summer Game Fest lives, kinda. So let's just jump right into it, Gables. Let's get into it. Before actually, I want to do something real fast, Gables. Watch this. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Hey,
Cracked open the beer.
there you
Got it
go.
with one fucking hand. People don't know Gables has been like one upping me for like a month now because he can open up a beer with one fucking hand. Well, guess what Daddy's been doing? Why did I call myself Daddy?
Now you just feel all
The fuck is
dirty
wrong?
inside after that.
I do. I feel bad about myself. Let's move on before I call myself worse things. Um, let's talk. I typed the wrong thing. I clicked on the wrong link. Sorry, back burner thing. People, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm an adult. We've been doing this for 497 episodes, and I still don't got it. Summer Game Fest.
Mm,
All right, Gables. Start off 11 o'clock Pacific time,
mm,
Best Coast, West Coast.
mm.
1 o'clock my time. I don't know about you, Big Gables, but I had to watch it on my phone in my work truck. I had like a 3 hour wait. So I was
Oh shit,
very
dude.
I was like in this like in my little like truck where I'm a big guy. It's not small,
Did you
but
watch
like
the?
it's not big, but I'm just like kind of like there's no room to like move, so I'm like hunched over the steering wheel watching it. It was not a good. It was not the most common situation. So,
Oh no, no, of
um,
course not.
but I made it through. I powered through. Um, at least I got paid for it, so whatever. Anyways, but actually, before we go through, we break shit down here. What was your thoughts on Summer Game Fest?
All right, so this particular broadcast, to give a little bit of hindsight, I watched a little bit of it during like one of my lunch breaks at work, and then after I got back home, I watched the full duration of the Summers Games Fest presentation from start and all the way through to the end, and then like pause right there. I honestly felt like the Summers Game Fest was underwhelming to a lot of
Mm-hmm.
extent, and that's because they had repetitions of a lot of the same type of games at the same point, like the space sci-fi sort of horror style games. But I honestly kind of felt like that there were a few like highlights in regards to that initial like Summer's Game Fest, and most of them had to do with like games that were going to be releasing next week, and that was just from my personal opinion because the things I was most excited for is like seeing the release date for like Shredder's Revenge and then for Neon White. Spoiler alert: both of them come out on the same day next week on June
Yeah,
16th.
and they both leaked like a day or two before, which we
Yes,
could talk about more about that. That ties
yes,
into a different rumor that we could talk about later. But
yes,
yeah,
absolutely. But initially, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I started watching a little bit of it. I saw a couple of like the gameplay stuff and a couple of announcement stuff. I wasn't really getting too into it, so I kind of skipped around here and there. I did like the whole aspect of Guile being unveiled for Street Fighter 6. Looks goofy as shit, but I absolutely love it. And I love the way how Street Fighter 6 has been looking despite the freaking roster being leaked and stuff. Seeing the reveals of characters and seeing how intricate Capcom has went into the effect of putting into like each and every character so far that they presented is fucking awesome. Especially when you go down and break it down to some other gameplay stuff that other people have had the chance to play the demo at Summer's Game Fest, to where you could do like various taunts before going to battle or doing this or that, you know. But I like that aspect. I kind of skipped around little bits here and there and stuff because a lot of other than like say the Callisto like protocol and stuff like that, and one very underwhelming one, which was the one by Bloober Team, which everybody thought, or most people thought it was going to be Silent Hill, but it ended up
yep,
becoming Layers of Fear. I was
yeah,
sitting back, I'm like, what the fuck is Layers of Fear?
yeah. I have the answer to that kinda.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, out of 10, what would you rate this thing?
All right. So throughout the whole entirety, it took about 2 hours or so of the Summer Games Fest. There were some aspects that were okay. There were some that were very repetitive and stuff. I would have given it like at least about a good, solid like about a 6 maybe.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. It's definitely like, um, it's a thing I've been talking about. Really, I feel like since like 2014 or so, when like the Nintendo Direct blew up. Um, And really, I think it was the Nintendo Direct 2014 during E3, where I'm just like, this just needs to be the thing that we do.
Yeah.
And it slowly started becoming a thing more and more. And then COVID hit and it really became a thing. Uh, so, and like cause I don't know how many times like we've been covering, you know, E3, Summer Game Fest, we want to talk about. Like 2020 obviously didn't happen, but what this is we've been doing this for 9 years. We started, our first episode was E3 2013.
Yep.
So I mean, we've been talking about this. This will be our 10th year of doing this kind of stuff, of the quasi E3 Summer Game Fest thing. And the thing I always complain about is like Ubisoft was the worst offender, but Microsoft especially. I mean, they've got better the last 3 or 4 times now, but for years they just drag on and on. They're like, here comes the executive. He's gonna bring in. He's gonna talk about. He's gonna talk for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna introduce somebody that worked on this game. They're gonna talk about the game. Then they're gonna show the game, and then they're gonna come back to that person. They're gonna talk some more. And I remember, like, I think it was like 2017 or 18. The Ubisoft was the worst offender for this.
Mm-hmm.
They did this whole thing, and they had a couch on the stage.
Yep.
And they would just sit on the couch, and the host would just talk to these people and have a conversation with them. It was like, this fucking sucks. And it'd just be 2+ hours, 2 hours minimum for all these things doing that. And if everybody's been a lot better, like Sony got a lot better at it. I think Sony picked it up first, really. You look at like 2015,
Yeah.
like it was still kind of a little bit of that, but it was like it was a lot faster pace. And then the final E3, I think it was, I don't know, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally, and Bethesda did it too. Bethesda picked it up fast too, where they had everybody in the theater, but it was literally just them watching a basically like a screen.
Oh yeah, that was like
There was no
2019.
people. Yeah, no, well they weren't at 2019, so it was like, or no, maybe it was.
It
You were
was
right. I think
2019.
it was,
Remember, because that
yeah, because that was only.
yeah.
That was weird because that was like they only had 4 games, but then they had them all in the Last of Us farm, and then they moved them. So it was like a 20-minute break.
Yeah.
And then they all went to the theater and watched the rest. But like
I think so.
I think 15, 16, 17, 18 was really good. But like 17, 18 literally was just people in a theater watching on a screen, and that was great. Bethesda did the same thing. It was awesome. Anyways, long ramble about that. I just love the way the pace of these things have gone, and like they've cut out all the fat and all of like the conversation shit. And I understand, like, hey, I love the live aspect of it. It kind of feels more raw and like anything can happen kind of shit. Like I get that. But man, when you just if you don't have the goods, it just makes it that much worse.
Yep.
Like I said, like PlayStation 2015 or E3 was longer. They had a little bit of that, but man, that was the year of dreams where they had like Final Fantasy 7, Last Guardian got brought back, Shenmue 3, like that was just every dream came true kind of thing. So like people excused it. When you have the goods, people will excuse it. Like we've had some great Microsoft ones where like people, you get past it. But like I'm not even like I love, like I will take whatever. Like I just want to have that weekend, whatever, of just big huge news announcement, game, like all the it's gamer Christmas, or gaming Hanukkah, because I guess it's like a stretch over days, where all the big shit just gets announced, condensed time. A bunch of journalists get to go, and they get to go play a bunch of games. They get to talk about the games. You get to hear about the games people get to play,
Right.
and you get to see some gameplay and stuff like that. Like I love that. Like, as with the E3 kind of corroding the road, I don't know, whatever, like decaying, dying, whatever you want to say. Like that was my big concern, was like losing that. Like Summer Game Fest being a thing, Jeff Keighley trying to pick up that mantle. I'm happy for it. I will take whatever. I'll take this. Like I'd rather watch this thing than not have anything at all. By far. Like I'm not trying to sit there and sound like like a spoiled brat or entitled, but it's like like when they're not great, we're gonna say it. When they're great, we'll rave about them. Like I talk about, people still talk about 2015 PlayStation E3. When they're great, people will talk about. 2019 wasn't even a great E3.
Right.
But I remember that, like the games were just not there, and we felt that, and then COVID hit, and I feel like maybe this is the first time where like we keep thinking that like we're gonna feel like that gap that Like maybe like I thought even talk about last year. I'm like, man, maybe we're starting to really feel like we're gonna really feel that COVID as far as hitting us as far as like games coming out and regular like obviously we felt COVID in a lot of ways, but just in terms of games coming out, I felt like oh man maybe this is where we're really gonna feel it. And 2020 was a really good year. Despite that, 2021 was I still say a really good year, a pretty good year, not like the greatest
Right.
year of all time, but a very solid year. And we kept going all like the second half of last year. All we talked about was like 2022 is gonna be the best year ever, and slowly but surely, like yeah, the first like 4 months was pretty awesome, but and we was like oh we just gotta get through like May, and then June will pick up, and now we're looking at the rest of the release schedule. It's like
Oh
well,
shit.
everything just kind of got delayed,
Yeah.
or we like we're just waiting on dates now. It's like the stuff hasn't got delayed yet, but like we don't. Is it coming this year? Um. So yeah, I think it's like I love Jeff Keighley for doing this. Like I know people like to talk shit about him and take shots at him, but it's like I don't know the guy personally, but he seems like a super nice guy. People seem to like him a lot, and I love the fact that he loves games just as much, if probably well, obviously more than us, because he's fucking doing this shit.
Yeah. No
So,
shit.
and like I never I always drives me nuts. People like to take shots at him, because I love Game Awards. I love this. So and if he's gonna keep it going, that's great. But yeah, like I'm with you. It's like a 6 out of 10. Like this is not the worst one ever, but like there was still some solid stuff. Like you look at like I always talk about this stuff. Like sometimes it's hard when you get through these things. They're so long, they're so boring sometimes. Where it's like, man, that sucked. But then you look on paper and it's like it's actually not bad. It's pretty good. But it's like yeah, like this could have been like an hour, and it would have been like I think it would have been like a like not like it wouldn't have been fantastic. It would have been a 9 or anything or an 8 maybe even. But
It would have been
like that was
better
actually that
than
was
what it
we
would, you know.
yeah, like we would have came out maybe like a 7, 7.5 kind
Yep.
of shit. Like
Yeah.
not the greatest, but like hey, I was entertained. It went by real fast and it's over. You know. Anyways, long ramble. So let's get into it, Gables. Here, I don't want to sit there and talk about everything one by one, but if there's something you want to talk about, Gables, just stop me,
Okay.
and you can talk about it. So I assume you want to talk about this one right off. We're gonna go in order. I wrote them all down here. So Street Fighter 6, Guile was playable. The entire roster leaked.
Yep.
But it's, so far, a lot of people at the Summer Game Fest, they had a lot of journalists there for the play days, but I think what they're calling it. And people have been raving about this game.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I don't know if there's anything you want to add before we move on that one, Gables. 'Cause I know this is more of your up your alley.
Well, let's see. Other than that, though, it's like what I was saying before. Guile looks good. His stage is more or less reminiscent of the classic Street Fighter 2 stage. It looks like, and I'm absolutely digging that. It looks fantastic. In terms of the hearsay and stuff that I've been hearing from other people, especially other like YouTubers, predominant ones like Maximilian Dude and stuff like that, it's like they absolutely love
Yeah.
this gameplay. That the gameplay is solid. You could tell from the
Uh,
initial trailer that this game was revealed and stuff. They spent a lot of time working out the kinks, working on the whole aspect of this whole parry mechanic, which I think was like a drive mechanic that they're calling it right now. Capcom is, but it looks like there's been some like simultaneous effort in between the graphical style and the gameplay of it that gives it that visual pop that looks like it's fantastic looking in regards to when you execute attacks or when you parry and stuff on top of God, just it looks like delivering like all these heavy, like slow, methodical type of hits in correlation with stuff. It gives them more visual flair than say what Street Fighter V initially showed off with that trailer when that was first unveiled. It was okay, but at the same time, it left a lot to be desired, especially when Street Fighter V launched to its abysmal launch, to where it had hardly any content. That's one of the biggest complaints that gamers had back when that game launched, and it took 4 years in order for that thing to actually get close to the potential it could have had. But those first couple of years and stuff of waiting for that content and stuff, that whole free DLC shit that ended up not becoming free and this and that, Capcom wanted to try to go forth and avoid anything like that at all costs. And I think they did a fantastic job, not only with the revealing of Street Fighter 6, but the supposed like leaks went on for the full character list.
yeah.
It's
Right.
not only
Yeah. The
got
leaks that they did.
it's not only gotten people more excited about Street Fighter 6, but at the same point, people are just thinking, okay, all these different characters have just been confirmed to this game, like either through the screenshots, the trailer, because there are new characters inside that debut trailer that people have gone into depth with that you can find out. Like, people already knew that Cammy and Guile were inside the game once they were deciphering close-ups of certain aspects of that last screenshot before the end of that first game trailer, on top of a couple new characters and this and that. But dude, 2023 is going to be excellent for this game when it finally does set a release date, because this is definitely one of my most hyped games coming into next year.
Yeah, it looks great. Like, I was watching some people play it, some YouTube videos, people playing it, and it looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on here, we got Aliens Dark Descent. We got a CG trailer for that one, like a 2-minute long trailer. It's coming 2023, and then come to find out it's a twin stick shooter. So yeah, very weird, especially when they just put out Fire Team, which is the 4-person Left 4 Dead style game. It's on Game Pass. I heard it's fine, but
man,
like,
too bad you couldn't be more like an Alien Isolation, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it's Alien Isolation 2, and then like it was just very weird the way like it was like a 2-minute CG trailer, and then literally like 5 seconds of gameplay. So at first I'm like, is that an RTS or is it a twin stick shooter? And then I watched it again. I'm like, oh, it's twin stick shooter. Okay. Next up here we got Callisto Protocol. We got like a extended cut of the trailer we got from the State of Play, and that's another thing really. If you take out some of the stuff that was shown up at that State of Play, like a Street Fighter 6 and Callisto Protocol were not shown at the State of Play, would have gave you this would have been a 7 out of 10 right there.
Completely different on the feel. It would just been the Resident Evil 4 thing at the beginning, and then like a little slow sailing all the way until like the whole Final Fantasy 16 thing at the end. It would have been drastically different.
Yeah. If they would have, like, State of Play kind of like took some of its bigger stuff here, but yeah, look, we got like a full thing of gameplay here. Very much they are not trying to hide the fact that this is a Dead Space. Their 2022 version of Dead Space, which it's totally fine. I think they know
same makers.
Yeah, same makers, but it's like sometimes they always try to like change it up a little bit. Yeah. It's like, no, don't. It's fine. I will buy this $70. Gables, I already pre-ordered this fucking thing. I went to goddamn GameStop yesterday. I picked the Quarry. I have not played it yet. It's a scary game. I want to play it at night.
Yep.
Yeah, I picked it up. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it this. I got the next week off, so I'm gonna be playing the shit ton of that. But I gotta figure out how the fuck stay up late because I'm too old to do that anymore. But anyways, I'm so excited, Gables. I got a gift card, $50 gift card from my sister for my birthday last month, and I haven't spent it yet.
Right.
Went up there, picked that game up, $50 down, boom. Hey, you know what? Pay the other 20 off right now. Bam, done. I'm in. If God of War doesn't come out this year, this is probably my game of the year.
Damn.
God of War comes out, it's got Callisto Protocol, probably my second favorite game of the year. That's the way I'm looking at that. That's how hyped I am for that game right now. Is I'm expecting this to be top contender for game of the year. Which that you can't get any more hype than that. Fucking hype, Gables.
Well, real talk.
Anyways, moving on.
Callisto Protocol looks fucking good. This thing looks fucking good. No.
You get to kick goddamn guys in the fan. You get sucked into a goddamn fucking carburetor or something. I don't know what the fuck you get sucked into, but it looks amazing, and I want it so fucking bad. We're gonna call this like the dark depressing hour because we went from Alien Dark Descent to Callisto Protocol to 8 minutes of gameplay of Modern Warfare 2. You're on a boat. I'm on a boat. I didn't mean to do that, but it just I can't. God damn it, Lonely Island. Anyways, it just looks like a prettier version of every Call of Duty campaign announcement we've ever seen before.
Pretty much.
Looks really pretty.
It's not bad, but at the same point, it's like more of the same.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: this is a huge get for Summer Game Fest.
Yeah,
you got the biggest game of the year. This will be without a doubt the biggest game of the year.
Absolutely.
In our bubble, it will not be. In our Twitter spaces,
probably
not the little Twitter spaces, but our Twitter followers, whatever. Not the biggest game of the year, but this will be the highest selling when we do NPDs in January. And we see what the 2022 best selling game of the year will be. It will be Modern Warfare 2. So this is a huge get for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean these games still sell. So Vanguard is still the best selling game of the year, and nobody seems to like that game. It's just still one of the 5 best selling games every month. I do want to. Why do soldiers carry beer bottles with rags and a lighter for Molotov cocktails? I don't understand that. we can't get. Can we not afford grenades? We spend like $1 trillion a year on our military, and we can't afford fucking grenades. What's going on? Anyways, Flashback 2 got announced. It's a sequel to a popular PC game from the 90s.
Damn. damn, you know what? It's like when I heard that one announced and stuff, I was thinking back to myself. It's like Flashback. It's that obscure game from the 1990s.
Yeah, I guess I don't know anything about Flashback, but people were saying it looks not doesn't look as doesn't look a lot like the original Flashback. So people were kind of
Yeah,
did
I
not see
I
that coming.
kind of figured with that, because when you get so long away from like the game's actual the first one when that first came out and stuff, it was on PC. I think it was on consoles as well at the time, but yeah, you know what? It's going to be kind of a difficult thing to try to adapt something like that, considering I'm trying to think of what Flashback was initially. Was it like a point and click or something like that? I'm
It looked like a side scroller thing,
Side scroll.
Gables. I don't have a
Okay,
fucking
okay.
clue. I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
gonna
I've
pretend like I
only
know.
heard of it. I've never seen really any type of gameplay for Flashback. That's the only thing I can really say about it. But
Okay, there's
yeah,
a fly in my apartment right now. It's driving me fucking nuts. Anyways, Witchfire, which I think about I'm so glad this finally got re-revealed because I remember this trailer from Game Awards from years ago,
yeah.
and like twice a year, I try to look it up and I can never figure out what the fuck the game is called because I'm like that game when they initially showed off, like that game looked great. People don't remember. They looked like they were like the trailer was like it looked like when it got revealed in 2017. It was like from the people that made Remains of Edith Finch, and it just looked like a walking simulator. And then it was like, and also made I can't remember the first person shooter was, but it's like Doom. And then all of a sudden the guy pulls out a fucking shotgun, and I'm like, oh my god! And then like they turn it, so it's like it looks like if Doom was made in the 17th century, where also like I don't know what you're fighting here,
Yeah.
but like it was like you're shooting, but like it would like hit the enemies and like crosses would come out. So I don't know if like they're vampires or demons or what, but it looked like 17th century Doom. I think there's a early access thing coming out.
Hmm.
I'm not interested in that. I just want to play the game when it comes out because that game looks pretty cool. Anything I want to give us?
No, no, no. Carry on.
Okay. All right. Fort Solus. Continuing on with the Dead Space like things. Remember Gables when we went like 10 years without like well, there was a not maybe not 10 years, but it was a really long stretch where we just didn't have good horror games,
Yep.
like action horror games.
Absolutely. And that was
And
back around
then
that 2012 period. Yes.
yeah, from like Dead Space 2 to like Evil Within 1.
Yes.
And really for most people Resident Evil 2 remake. So there was really an actual decade there for a lot of people. For me, like I talk about Evil Within 2 kind of held, you know, kind of kept me going there for a little while. Now Gables, everything's Dead Space now. So we got Fort Solus. There was no gameplay in this one, and I was like, is this um, like a kind of like an Outlast style game, where like you're on a space station, something's happening. Like Fort Solus, I'm assuming you're on Mars because if I remember correctly, and their name for Mars is Souls. Um, I could be wrong on that one because I know a Mars day is called a Souls. So that's why I'm thinking that. But anyways, Troy Baker and Randy Cray, the voice actor Arthur Morgan. I can't remember his name
Okay.
now. The most generic white guy name ever. Anyways, they came out and they talked about it. Troy Baker said it's basically like Dead Space. So I'm like, okay, so maybe I'm assuming now it's an action horror game. Um, I'm intrigued. I am a fan of space and action horror games. So I'm intrigued by that. I just want to see what the game is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you got some big names attached to this one. So I mean, that tells me that it could be good. Routine, which was a guessing game that was announced 2012. Also a Dead Space like game, but like with evil robots. Apparently Mick Gordon, who did the soundtrack for Doom and Doom Eternal, which are amazing for like a solid 3 years. The soundtrack was literally my alarm clock. So I wake up to that every day. Let me tell you, Gables, you wake up in a mood when that happens. Sometimes good, sometimes you want to go out and run real fast and kill things. But anyways, he is doing the soundtrack for this game, but there was no fucking music played during this fucking goddamn trailer.
That is so freaking bizarre when that happened and stuff. You tout that you get a composer that helped create Doom, and then you don't hear anything from the composer, and it's just
Yeah.
dead silent while you're doing some boring ass shit. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we got the guy that made the music from Star Wars to make this game, and it's just a silent movie. It's like, what? Anyways, the game looks really creepy. The robots look real creepy. but it was all CG. So, I mean, I'm intrigued because of it's once again it is a looks seems to be an action horror game, and if you got Mick Gordon doing the goddamn music, I'm assuming you go real fast. So I'm intrigued by that. So I just want to see it. Then The Rock came out. Uh,
And because you can't add any more star power as it is, then it's like, hey, let's go forth and let's see if we can get the Rock here very last minute. It's like you just see him holding up his phone or something at the gym, just advertising a thing, a blurb for Black Adam.
enjoy your gaming.
Exactly.
Uh, anyway, yeah, just The Rock nude in his fucking gym talked to us about. He somehow figured out how to pimp everything except for his tequila. And then you like he tagged when he announced it. He hashtagged Fortnite in it, and I mentioned that last week for predictions.
Yeah.
It's like when he tweeted about I'll be at the Summer Game Fest. Hashtag some Fortnite. Hashtag Black Adam. Hashtag tequila. Hashtag Zoa. Hashtag. Um, and then Fortnite wasn't even a thing at all. Wasn't even talked about. So
Well, maybe just did it
there
just
was a
cause.
trailer. There was a trailer for Black Adam. So that was already went up on Monday or Tuesday. So whatever. Frost Giants new game, which these are the devs that were really important to StarCraft. Their new game, Stormgate. So apparently it's a new RTS game. It was entirely a CG trailer. I got none of that from this CG trailer. It, I don't know what the fucking trailer was. I got nothing out of that trailer.
I got so
Um,
bored that I actually skipped ahead in that trailer because I just wanted to
okay,
get towards the next thing because it looked
gotcha.
fairly boring.
Yeah, I would just, I mean, I hate when they announce new IPs
Hmm.
and you give us no idea what your game is. I understand like Blizzard was always great at CG trailers and they still are, but when you do it with like brands we know, it means a little bit more. When you're a
Yeah.
brand new studio, a brand new game by a brand new studio. It's like I don't know what the fuck this thing is. So I that's my pet peeve with CG trailers.
Oh, especially if
It's
it's like
like
90% CG trailer and maybe like about 2 seconds or so worth of gameplay.
there was even give me 2 seconds of like at least the Alien Dark Descent thing gave me 3 seconds of like, oh, it's a twin stick shooter. At least I know that. But anyways, High Water World's coming out. I think they said this year. It's an indie game where you're on a raft. It's about climate change. Um, I'm intrigued. I'm a sucker for these type of games typically. So looks like a more narrative based game with a pretty cool soundtrack, which getting pretty good. Gables.
Oh yeah.
Um, moving on here, replace. He mentioned Jeff Keighley mentioned, which is a game that I'm super duper hyped for. It's coming to Game Pass and everything. So it's coming out this year. Is that the Xbox showcase last year? But they announced a little bit ago that just a few weeks ago is getting delayed to next year. They are a studio based out of Ukraine,
Right.
so they're supposed to have a trailer here, but because of everything going on there, they couldn't have one. But I thought that was really cool of Jeff Keighley to like, hey, don't forget about this game. And then let us like, hey, just say this is cool. It was like a little 20-second thing, but I thought that was really nice. Um, American Arcadia, I liked this game. It
Ah,
is like a
okay.
Truman Show like game, um, where like I guess so. I was reading about like more of like kind of what the game, like the description of the game. So it sounds kind of like more like so it's like bunch of people live in like this like bubble, like they're in this bubble, and it's like it's reality TV, like it's just 24/7, almost like the movie Ed TV kind of.
Yes.
I don't know if they're aware of the fact they're in like a Truman Show type thing or not, but apparently I guess if like people are that don't find you interesting enough, like in the real world, like I don't know if they kill you or what, but like basically like
The
they get rid of you.
popularity.
Yeah, so like if you're not popular enough, they'll get rid of you. So you play this guy. Um, I guess he's just a very boring, and something's gonna happen to him. But somebody on the inside is helping him out. So I guess like you jump between both characters,
Yeah.
and you have to help him. Like she's monitoring on like the cameras and helping him. And it's like at one point like it shows him running and like jumping uh into a pool off of like a building. I thought this game it's supposed to come. It said coming soon.
Hmm.
Coming soon with the indie game could mean tomorrow, could be mean 2025. So, but this is a game it is on my watch list.
Yes.
Not my wish list because I don't use Steam, but it's on my watch list because I am super pumped for that game. Um, Gables. Then we had maybe the funniest part of the show, where we had the return of a franchise that's been kind of long dormant. What's going on with this game? Dead Island 2. Oh wait, no, it's Ghost Simulator 3. Uh, I bought this as soon as I saw the background. I'm like, I know that background. I remember that background. Where's that from? And then it started. I'm like, oh my! I remember the trailer of the guy running, and then like zombies are attacking the people as he's running. Um, man, I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, okay. I'm not excited for this game, but I'm like, this is pretty cool that it's coming back, I guess. Because I think this is the same studio that made Dying Light 2, I believe, makes this game, if I remember correctly. Um, but Gables, turns out it is Goat Simulator 3. It looks like it's going to be 4-player co op. Gables, I had to look it up. There is no Goat Simulator 2. So they got me twice. Got me fucking twice. I know, Gables, you love this game. You platinumed the first one.
Yes, I did.
We got a good laugh at one time when I said, hey, let's talk about Goatsy, and I didn't realize what I said. Um, so I think we have a podcast titled after it. So go back on our archives and look that up.
Oh, that makes me happy just looking back to that. That was so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. No gameplay. CG trailer. This is the funny. This is a CG trailer. This is a good one. I like that one. It was very funny. This both jokes will ever work once, but they fucking nailed them.
Oh my God, that unveil. And I immediately thought to myself, like, yeah, this is a Dead Island trailer. And all of a sudden, it's like, it just goes into almost the same routine. It's like, they're not showcasing the same trailer again, are they? And all of a sudden, you just see this looks to the back of them, and you see it's like fucking four goats just following. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, Goat Simulator 3, I'm like, yeah!
I kept rewinding. I went back and watched it later on. And I got when I got home, I watched it, and I kind of skimmed through some of the stuff I wanted to kind of see again. And I had to rewind the part where the goat kicks the guy through the fucking glass window about 20 fucking times because it killed me every single time.
This was the most amazing trailer that I saw throughout that whole entire thing because it was fucking funny. It was unexpected, and it actually made you think, like, for a second, it's like, that was a great fake out, honestly, with
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
I think that's
So,
kind of ironic they just went with the title Goat Simulator 3, confusing people even more because there was not
yeah.
Goat Simulator 2.
Yeah. It was very good. Moving on though, we got Midnight Suns, which is the Marvel XCOM like game with cards. Very weird. We got a gameplay reveal for this last year, and it's just come out at the beginning of the year, and they delayed it because like everybody they have a card system thing, and no like everybody seemed kind of pretty meh about it.
Yeah.
And then in this trailer, it showed that it was a CG trailer entirely. Venom and Spider-Man are confirmed. Yuri, who plays the voice of Spider-Man from the PlayStation games, is actually going to play the voice of this,
Okay.
and he will be on all the versions. So this wasn't in the trailer, but it's coming October 7th, and the Switch logo has been been kind of taken off quietly
Yeah.
off of this trailer. Like, well, it was never on the trailer. I should say it wasn't taken off. It was never on it, which is supposed to be like a Switch game. So maybe this is coming later. Maybe they just canned it. I don't know. It was just very weird that like it was like we seen gameplay of this game a year ago. Why are we getting a CG trailer for a game that's coming out that we haven't seen in a year? That's coming out in 4 months, and you're like it sounds like they're kind of like not getting rid of the card thing, but they're kind of retooling it a little bit. So it's like that's the thing that we kind of all want to see of like you push this game back like 6-7 months for that, and it's like okay, I guess I mean I don't know, like maybe this is not the place for it. I don't know. It's just very weird that like I get it. Like people like they see Marvel characters, they get pumped, and that's probably the thing you want to get them excited about this, and then show them show them their shit later. I don't know. Anything for you on that one, Gables?
Alarm bells sounded whenever I see any type of game trailer that it's like this close to its launch and stuff, and we're just seeing nothing but like CGI or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because that gives me the indication that they're hiding something, and not just something that's particularly good, but potentially something that they do not want people to know until after they buy the game. So that's what the type of impression kind of gives me with that stuff.
Yeah.
Two red flags immediately. It's like you have the CGI trailer right there, 4 months away and stuff. Two, they had to go forth and, like you said before, delay and kind of like remodel that whole card system and stuff that they initially did.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not so confident showing the gameplay like initially this
Well,
going on so far.
they did have a preview event, I guess last week, and
Yeah.
then like the previews went up immediately after the event. I haven't got a chance to look at them yet. I don't know what people are saying about them, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if people are good at like I don't know if I think it was a hands off one, so they got to watch it and get to play it.
Right.
But I meant to look at them beforehand. I just totally spaced doing that. So I'll look at them. I'm not. This is not a game I'm super intrigued in. Like
No.
I like XCOM style games. I just don't like XCOM the games because they're just I don't like how like in depth I just I, don't know, I like the gameplay of it. I just like all the other shit. So I don't know. This is not a game I'm like super. I love Marvel, but I don't know. This is not really doing it for me. Cuphead, Delicious Last Course. We got some gameplay on that one. It's coming June 30th. I don't have too much to the game's coming out in a couple weeks, so it's just it gets more gameplay for it. I got to see some more bosses. Looks great.
Yeah.
Just I love the first one. I'm not good at that game.
And
Gables
what's interesting about that, I think they actually revealed the price of that thing, and I think it's actually $8.
Is that it? Really?
I think so. Double check.
Because the first game was only. I think the first game was only 20.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, double check that. But I think I was looking up something. I think it's only like $8, that thing. It was like super cheap from what I understood.
only $8. You're right. Okay.
So you're getting yourself a fantastic.
That's nuts.
Yeah, for how much work that they put into that DLC and stuff, and it looking as great as it does, especially with that last trailer they just put out for like the Game Fest, like the Game Fest and stuff like that. I feel like that's every bit worth it, dude.
Yeah, so it says here though you do need to own the original game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not standalone.
So that's
yeah.
$20, but I'm sure you might be able to find it on sale or
No doubt.
something like that. But yeah, I mean, still that's a fantastic game. You can buy that in the DLC for $28, even if you buy the first game at full price. But that's crazy for a game that's been in development for. They've been working on that for this DLC for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I heard the Miss Chalice or something.
Yes,
I can't remember
Miss
her name.
Chalice is playable.
Yeah, so people have been playing that one. I guess like she's kind of like the easier version for people.
Yep.
So maybe I'll check it out. Maybe because like I guess she has a double jump and she has like an extra hit point. So I don't know. I bought it on Xbox, so I might just $8. Fuck yeah, I'll just buy it. I'll just play it. Check it out.
I think I have it on Steam and also on Switch.
You own it on Xbox, I'm pretty sure, or maybe you do own it. You own it on Steam. Remember you played it. You own it somewhere.
Not on Xbox. I do have it on Steam, and that's probably where the thing ties in and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, but that game, that first game was fantastic. I just, oh
yeah.
my god, I almost broke every goddamn thing I owned. Especially when you get to see how close you got to that final that goddamn fucking dragon. Moving on. Neon White got a release date. Got some more gameplay for that one. It's the like fast-paced parkour game with cards. It's coming. It's gonna be a Switch console exclusive, but it's also coming to PC.
Mm-hmm.
And it got a release date June 16th.
Yeah.
I know Gables really hyped for this one. It's on your Fans Critic thing.
No shit. Yeah.
We do know for a fact that the reviews come up at 11 o'clock your time, 11 a.m. On June 15th. So,
wow. Okay.
Which that will tie into another story later on, but yeah, that's coming June 16th. Anything you want to add before we move on that one, Gables?
It looks as stylish as ever, and I'm super hyped about it. So that's about it.
Okay. Midnight Fight Express. Yes, into my fucking veins. They showed this game off. This was revealed last year. It's made by one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they said by a single father, which I don't know if that means he's a single father or he's one person that's also a father working on this game. I can't tell. Anyways, this was revealed last year, like I said, at the Summer Game Fest kickoff show. It is like a Hotline Miami style beat 'em up game. It's coming out August 23rd. Finally got a release date for that game. Like I said, looks amazing. And it's coming to fucking Game Pass, Gables.
Yep.
Yes, I am all in on this goddamn game. I'm buying this game. Then I saw Game Pass. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what? I don't have to buy this game. Maybe I should just buy the game anyways. I need to support this. Maybe single father. Maybe he has a wife, but he's just the only person. I can't tell. Anyways, fuck this part of the goddamn. Welcome to the hentai part of the podcast here. Honkai Star Rail is coming. It's a Genshin Impact devs. It's a sci-fi like Genshin Impact game.
Yeah, that is little to nothing for me, but at the same point, it's from the same makers as Genshin Impact that's been incredibly successful with the
Gotcha.
game and stuff like that, the whole gacha mechanics and stuff like that. And them going into another foray with a different game doesn't surprise me, but yeah, it didn't really look too interesting in my honest opinion. But hey, maybe a lot of other people that are fans of Genshin Impact will be really digging this one.
Yeah. Well, if that didn't get it for you, Gables, I got ZZZ. We got Zenless Zone Zero. It is a roguelike action game.
Hey, yeah, definitely look kind of better in that regards though, but I couldn't get over the fucking name of it because it's like you get the last one with the whole Genshin Impact team, and all of a sudden you get this one. I'm like, yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah. ZZZ was appropriate for this game because I fell asleep watching it. And then, well, no, not last, but definitely least, One Piece Odyssey.
I honestly am excited to see what this game is going to be offering full on because they are touting like an open world sort of One Piece game here for like One Piece Odyssey. It's its own separate story, separate from the initial full on main story with Monkey D. Luffy and stuff like that and his pirate crew and stuff. So it's going to be like like I said, open world sort of like an action RPG sort of thing, It looks fairly interesting, honestly. The game itself, the art style from Oda and stuff looks crisp. It looks like it's animated very well. I haven't seen too much of the action RPG gameplay of it yet, though, but I'm kind of excited to see where this goes because if it's something great, I'm going to go forth and I'm going to dive headfirst into it because I am a One Piece fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Nerd. And Soul Hackers 2 is coming out August 26th. People are saying very good things about this game at
Yes.
the Summer Game Fest Playday. Apparently, it's like Persona battles. So, Weebs Unite. And I know this is on your Fantasy Critic thing, so I know you're
Absolutely.
probably pretty excited for this one. Yeah. So, anyways, leaving the hentai section into the Shredder section.
Yay.
Motherfucking TMNT Shredder's Revenge coming out June 16th. Casey Jones is playable. 6-player co-op.
I'm there, dude.
Online co-op. And most importantly, Gables, Game Pass.
Game
Best
Pass Day
deal in
1.
gaming.
Yes.
Fucking right. Game Pass just saving me money. So I cannot wait to play that game. Part of me just wants to wait to play with you because we can play this one online.
Let me tell you something. I've been so excited about this game in particular that an incident happened to me at work earlier on this week to where I was going through someone's donations, right? It was after the fact, right? And I come across a $20 bill, and I show it to my boss and everything. It's like, hey guys, look what I found! I found a $20 bill. It's like, hey, I found a $20 bill. It's like, hey, you can keep it. Like, okay. And so it's what I ended up doing later on that day. I fucking went to Walmart.
Did you?
No, I'll show you what I did do. I went to Walmart and I got fucking this.
Oh no. Oh, he bought hentai.
No, I did not buy fucking hentai, dude. I mean, I want the real shit. Anyway, let's go ahead.
They're not real. It's hentai, Gables.
I like real women. God damn it.
Well, hentai's not it.
I know. I didn't say I like that.
Okay.
Anyway.
What is happening?
Long story short, I ended up buying this fucking thing. And for your audio listeners, I bought the complete fucking series for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I thought you were going to say you bought the Cowabunga collection that comes with the free Pizza Hut personal pan pizza coupon.
Oh shit, dude, I can't afford that damn thing.
It's only $35.
Well, shit, dude, I can't afford that. I'm just kidding. But
yeah,
no, man.
If they're 15, you could have bought it.
No, man, this is only like $25 with this fucking the whole TV series and stuff. And I watched through the full-on freaking thing of season 1 and season 2 as well. Nice. But yeah, I was getting myself a little bit prepped, and because I'm a big old fan of the old cartoon from back then, because I used to grow up watching that thing in syndication, and yeah, man, it's like $25. I tried looking for digital options on YouTube, and it's literally like $10 a fucking season. I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm not paying $100 digital.
How many seasons are there? 3?
They're 10.
10? Oh my god.
There's 10 seasons.
It's way cheaper.
It's
Gotcha.
like
Okay, yeah.
5 episodes. There's like about 5 to 8 episodes for like the first season. But anyway,
Okay.
it's gotten me so excited for Shredder's Revenge and stuff because you
Mm.
see the intricate little cues and stuff from the TV show. The source material looks like it's quoted fairly well. The gameplay is reminiscent of the classic beat 'em up turtle games from back then. Not only the arcade game, but also Turtles in Time and this and that. And dude, it totally has an arcade sort of feel to where you have like little like six character like 6 player like co-op and stuff like you would say like an arcade or four or whatever the hell. Has the makings of being one of the best games this year, dude, and I'm so fucking
Yeah.
psyched for that.
Yeah. I believe this is a Street Fighter 4 or Streets of Rage 4 people. So
Mm,
fucking yeah.
yeah,
And then the fact that it says online because like we both love Battletoads and Streets of Rage. Why could I say Street Fighter? Streets of Rage 4 in 2020. Both
yes,
of those games were on our top 10 list. But neither one I believe had online co-op. So this one having online co-op.
yeah,
Gables, I want to definitely play that. We gotta have a gamer night for this
we
one.
gotta have one.
Um,
Yes.
yeah. I'll let you have April. Anyways, um, moving on here. Capcom Arcade Stadium is coming out July 22nd.
Hmm. I think it's fairly interesting because you have a slew of retro Capcom games that are present inside this one. You have a couple of Darkstalker games. You have a couple like Street Fighter games. You have also some various like other miscellaneous Capcom game stuff. It looks interesting, but I'll tell you what though, it's not as exciting as like say that Capcom collection that's going to be releasing later on this month with
Yeah, that comes out in like a couple weeks, doesn't it?
yeah, exactly. Which I do implore anyone that's watching or listening to this, if you're a Darkstalker fan and you want them, Capcom, to make another one, fucking buy this game that's coming out later on this month. I mean, for God's sakes, it's got the entirety of all the fucking Darkstalkers games on this disc alongside of all the other things in between, like Red Earth, like fucking Cyberbots, and all these other like random obscure ones, Gem Fighters, like basically any type of niche sort of Capcom fighting game from back in the 90s or something like that is present on this damn like collection stuff.
Mhm.
But for what we did see from this summer's Game Fest and stuff, it looks all right, but I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's true or not. I thought I heard someone say you can buy the games a la carte for $5 a piece.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
there's only a
it's
couple.
the same thing for Volume 1 to where you could buy them separately if you choose to.
Oh, okay. Okay, so all right, so that is the thing. Okay, cool. So that's kind of cool. Metal Hellsinger was announced next. This is that like Doom like first person shooter game. It's a rhythm shooter where it's like heavy metal. There's an indie game that came out like a year or two ago called BPM Bullets per minute. That was kind of the
Yes.
same thing. This is just a higher, more up like a higher res version of that
Right.
basically. Um, Looks good. I just have zero rhythm. And sometimes these games are always kind of tough because it's like you want to play it like a normal game, but it's like I don't know, like Cadence by Rule and those kind of games like they work and because like I think those games work a little better. But like I played like Soundfall like last month like it was at the indie event and like I really liked the game, but it's like tough when you just want to like shoot and it's like I gotta wait for the fucking beat. Um, so I don't know. Like I guess if you're good enough, you can get around it, but I don't know. I got no rhythm. Um, so I no rhythm, but you get the blues. I no rhythm. Anyways, I don't know where that came from. That was weird. Let's not do that again, Tyler. Um, call myself daddy. Gables buying hentai. I'm singing Elvis. It's a fucking weird podcast. Anyways, Saints Row Boss Factory is was announced. It's a thing you can download on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. It is a way it's a character creator, so you can actually create your character. You can actually take a picture of yourself, and it will like make it for you in the game,
Okay.
and you can do all that before the game comes out. Which I don't know why more games don't do this. Like this is just awesome, especially games that have like super in depth like character creators.
Mm.
Like I know people that will spend hours on their character creator. So like if you could put that out like a month beforehand, let people like get their shit ready to go. That's smart, and also it's free, so people can download it and like, well, fuck, I just made a like now I'm a little more, I've invested in this game, so I'm more likely to buy it. So I don't know. I think it's just a good idea. But that's kind of cool. Blooper Teams, Layers of Fears was announced. This is the everybody was thinking Silent Hill, like he was talking about. It's actually this is like a reimagining like of 1 and 2. I guess
Right.
like 1 was like a very like they just weren't super happy. I remember that game came out and it was very middling. Layers of Fear 2 came out. I remember people were a little more. It was like a solid like 7 out of 10 kind of game. And this is kind of like a reimagining of 1 and 2, like put together, and it's on Unreal Engine 5. So, and I do love the fact that there's the rumor about the Kojima game Overdose, and I love the fact when Jeff Keighley went to go introduce the game, get a dose of this, and I love that he'd like a real emphasis on the dose. I don't know, maybe he was looking at a Dos Equis in a corner. I don't know, but I like that. I don't know. I don't really have interest in these games. Anything you want to add to that one, Gables?
No, nothing too much for that. It looked like a stereotypical like survival horror game.
Yeah, it looks very pretty in
Yeah,
Unreal 5. I
yeah.
can't wait for those games to start. I can't wait for the UE5 games to start coming out because that's
When it
gonna be
starts
fucking
becoming
awesome.
hyper realistic or something like that freaking train station and stuff that released like a couple of weeks ago or something like that, then oh god, I'm not looking forward to that, honestly.
Yeah. Uh, Gotham Knights we had a trailer for that. It's crazy. They revealed this game 2 years ago with
Mm,
like a bunch of gameplay, and I was like fully on board. And every time I see this game, I become less on board.
mm.
Um, so I don't know. I mean, I felt the same way. We both felt the same way last year about Deathloop. They showed the
Yeah,
game off like 10 times over like a year and a half span, and we're like, man, I just don't want to fucking hear about this game anymore. And then I played the game and I beat the game in like 3 days. I'm like, that game was fucking awesome.
yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it could be the case. This game can come out and be awesome. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it could be the
It just looks.
case, but with Gotham Knights, it definitely looked like it was. It's definitely getting to that point where it feels like it's being overexposed with a lot of this stuff because, like you were just stating, every time that we see some bit of footage, we're definitely seeing some bit of implemented like gameplay stuff. It looks like it's a step down each time.
Yeah, it's just there's just whenever they show the game, it's just not impressive.
Right.
But maybe like it's one of those games where you gotta get your hands on. Like I don't know. I just get very like middling Ubisoft map game out of that game. But we'll see. Next up was the one more thing here. It's kind of this is like a very long. It's like a 12-minute long thing here.
Yeah.
So before the like about an hour before the, I just feel bad for everybody involved in this one here.
Yeah.
About an hour before the event, PlayStation website leaked The Last of Us Part One. There's actually the snitch on Twitter who is blown up. He is like he leaked the date. He just put a tweet out saying Part One, September 2nd, 2022, with a controller emoji and a laptop emoji, so meaning PC and consoles.
Mm.
So everybody immediately was like, okay, Last of Us, like, okay. And he like blew up about a week ago, because the day before the state of play we had just recently, he leaked the entire thing and got everything 100%. And he's got blown up today. He leaked. He did a tweet. He does the way he presents the tweets are very interesting. So he did a tweet today, doing a quote from the original Overwatch reveal trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and he it's a quote from that, and it says free to play at the end. So people are wondering if that means Overwatch 2 will be free to play, and maybe that's announced tomorrow. I don't know.
Hmm.
But also he tweeted just yesterday a picture of Hollow Knight,
Mm.
with a green circle meaning Xbox, day one meaning Game Pass. So now people are starting to think maybe it's coming to Game Pass tomorrow. So maybe this guy knows a lot more shit. And then even Jason Schreier and Tom Henderson and Jeff Grubb have kind of like vouched for this guy a little bit, not like fully on board, but like
Right.
Jason Schreier. Something we'll talk about a little bit more later. Jason Schreier has an article countering some of his leaks that he had to do with this. But anyways, Neil Druckmann came out. He's a director of the Uncharted games, Uncharted 4, and he's like the lead writer on 1, 2, and 3, though, and the lead writer and director on Last of Us 1 and 2. He came out obviously pretty upset, and fairly so, I'd say. It kind of went out of your sales. They announced Last of Us Part 1. It's coming like the leak said, December 2nd. It'll be $70. Then he said that the Last of Us TV show wrap filming. Was supposed to wrap filming. It actually did wrap up today.
Right.
And he said we'll see that real soon. So that's exciting. He like I said, he was obviously pretty pissed off. He said Jeff did ask about, are you still working on a game? He's like, yes, I'm working on a game. He's like, but we'll talk about that more later, possibly at the next Summer Game Fest. He's like, and kind of under his breath if PlayStation doesn't leak it first. So like I said, he made multiple. He's like he made multiple references like in a joking manner, but it's like obviously when you make those references jokingly, but it's like obviously like I'm saying this jokingly, but I'm actually pissed about it kind of thing. Then we got a screen like a concept art for the Last of Us multiplayer game that was supposed to be the factions that's supposed to come out and be a part of Last of Us Part 2, and then got delayed,
Mm-hmm.
and we just never heard about it. And Jay Schreier and Jeff Grove have been kind of reporting about this for a while now, that apparently it became a much bigger thing, and now it's its own standalone thing, which he did confirm. That the concept art looked like it was the Golden Gate Bridge was in the background, so it's obviously San Francisco.
Yep.
Apparently there will be a story mode to it, but we have no idea what this game is. It's like, is this just like a 5v5 type game? Is this a Division type game? Like, what is this game? Is it a Destiny game? Who fucking knows? But he said we'll hear about it more next year. He said this potentially could be their biggest game yet. But like I said, it was kind of like the win. This took the win out of sales. I don't think this game would like this. If this was this didn't leak, I don't think this would have made a substantial difference to our overall feels on it, because
Right.
this is not the one more thing of a show.
No, it's not.
Like Elden Ring is a great one more thing all across. Even for me that was not interested in that game. A great one more thing. But yeah, a remake of a 9-year-old game is not that. Even as like Last of Us. Yeah, I know they've had a remaster. It's the third time they
It's a
released it
second
in 9.
one in the span
Yeah,
of 10
it's
years, dude. After its
9
release.
years. Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I this is like, the best directs conferences or whatever, when you start with a banger, in the middle you have a big banger, and then you end with a banger. And this would have been a solid opening, but this was not like the one more thing. Yeah, like even said, like even this leak, this is not a big. I don't think it's a big deal, but like I feel bad for Neil Druckmann and the people at Naughty Dog, because Last of Us Part 2 was leaked last year, and I feel like honestly maybe the one of the most damaging leaks to a game ever, where the whole story leaked and a lot of people just read what the story was with no concept. They couldn't play the game. Like, I'm so happy that game I was not spoiled for me, because I don't know, maybe I would have came a little more down on it. But like, so many people went in that game with a negative mindset, just reading what happened instead of playing the
It
game.
was everywhere. You could not
Yeah,
avoid that. It was the most
yeah,
damaging thing that game could have actually happened. Because if I hadn't have read that and I would have played the game, maybe it could have had a different perspective of it than what I do currently. But at the same point, yes, these leaks have definitely been damning in terms of what Naughty Dog has been trying to set off and try to introduce and stuff. But because of that, from Last of Us Part 2, and then for the subsequential leak of this from like with PlayStation, I mean, we've heard rumors about this game being remastered, the
yeah.
first one for PS5. I mean, that hasn't been really too much of a secret in that regards, but this was like the
No,
first confirmation that this was a thing that was going to be slated for this
yeah.
year, even though, yeah, it is the second remake in a number of years of
Well,
the,
it's the first remake, but we had to remaster
yeah,
it.
we had a
So
remaster. This is
yeah,
a
I mean, I
remake,
know it's
right?
yeah, but yeah, like you're saying, like the worst part is like, yeah, we knew about this game was coming, but the worst part is just like we had the trailer, we had
Yeah.
everything, we had the logo, we had all the pre-order bonuses, we knew everything about this game, and it wasn't Jason Schreier leaking it; it was PlayStation themselves fucking it up
I'll
again.
be perfectly honest with
Um,
you, man. This whole entire thing from Naughty Dog, even though it wasn't intended to be as much, it was kind of like a wet fart at the end of a conference, because even
yeah,
though they presented something that looked visually stunning, even though that this is a remaster of a fantastic game,
yeah,
there were a bunch of things that were out of their hands that they could not control that ended up becoming a lot worse than it could have been. And on top of that, the rumblings that this is a $70 full price game that's going to be coming up
yeah.
September 2nd does not sit well with a lot of gamers, kind of including myself. But at the same time, I have not looked at the full extent of what they've gone through and remastered of it. All I'm seeing is the original game, no type of multiplayer that it was present inside the original
Yeah, there's
game.
no multiplayer,
Yeah,
so
exactly the point. Plus, a
yeah.
screenshot of what they're going to be potentially working on and showing off next year. I mean, that doesn't do very much for me, but
Yeah, I think a lot of that was like they added the like kind of spruce up. Like this whole thing just felt like like they brought in Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson. They talked about, hey, you're gonna be a part of the show. It was very awkward, and they just kind of like rambled.
It definitely
I
felt that way. Yes,
I feel like they just kind of
they were winging it.
like yeah, I feel like maybe like it was supposed to be just like, hey, like Neil Druckmann's here, and then like he like, hey, here's we're remaking Last of Us. Here it is. Boom, we're done. And it felt like maybe like, and maybe we're wrong, but like, it felt like our one more thing was fucked. Um, we got to like try to add something to it, and this is just like almost like here's a screenshot of the TV show. Here's a screenshot of or not even a screenshot concept art of our multiplayer game. We can confirm what's going on with it, and that's about it. As like kind of like a make good, kind of like hey, sorry, we fucked up. Like Jeff Keighley put a shrug emoji out on Twitter as soon as it blew up. You were the one that told me about it.
Yeah.
About the leak in the first place. I literally had to pull over and like, what happened here? Uh, but so yeah, yeah, like you said, like Last was Part One is in my top 10, maybe my top 5 favorite games of all
Right.
time. Last was Part 2 is at worst my second favorite game of all time. So like I bought Last was Part 1 with the day one when I wasn't even that high on the game going into it. I was like, oh, it's another fucking zombie game, whatever. And like uh, loved it. Was my game of the year. Was was my game of the generation.
Yep.
And I bought Last of Us the remaster for PS4 the very next year at full. Well, I think it was $50 instead of $60.
Yep.
I bought that the very next year. Beat it again. Love that game. I beat that game again right before going into Part 2 in 2020. Like I love that game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And like I talked about last week when we had the Summer Game Fest prediction show we did, and I talked about that. And I'm like, I bitched about it when the rumors came out last year. I'm like, why the fuck are we wasting Naughty Dog's talent on this? I know why. I get why they're doing it. It's smart business. It's going to sell millions right off the bat. Then the TV show's going to come out next year. It's going to sell even more millions. They're going to triple dip on this remake, and they're going to quadruple dip when the show comes out on Last of Us Part 1. And I get it. It's probably the smartest business move they can make. But yeah, when I saw the trailer, it's like it's okay. It's all the cutscenes. Like they said, it's from the ground up. The rumors were they were taking the Last of Us Part 2 gameplay, which is actually fantastic, and putting this into the game, which okay, like I'm cool with that. I just would have liked to have seen it.
Yes.
Because all the trailer shown was cutscenes. So
and not actual gameplay itself, just the cutscenes.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like it was just kind of weird. Like, all right, that'll do it. Like, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm like, that was it. Like that's the show. Okay. Like it's just kind of like a weird. Like, all right, see you guys. I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, I feel bad for everybody involved in that situation. It just seemed like, but even if that was the one more thing, it wouldn't have like
No.
it wouldn't have it maybe would have made it like a 6.5. Like, hey, this is a cool moment here. But like, yeah, this was not like a. I don't know. And like I said, I'm not blaming Jeff Keighley for this one. He can only get what he can only show what he gets.
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like maybe the game industry, as a whole, like I was talking about at the top of the show, where it's like maybe they just don't have the goods this year, and they don't want to show like. And the problem is right now I've been talking about this for a couple of years now. Where like we pretty much know a lot of the big games that are coming, basically the whole fucking generation, because so much of the shit was shown off so early, especially Xbox. Which I'm not really trying to knock so much, but like, I understand why they're doing it. They're using it as a recruitment tool to get more people.
Right.
But yeah, I think want maybe a part of that. People are just so like, well, we don't want to keep showing games that are not even in development yet, or we're like literally just talking about right now. Like what's like, like we got so many of these games. Like Xbox has been showing off CGI trailers for years, and now they're aware of it. They're trying not to show CGI trailers anymore. And it's like, okay, I was like, what the fuck are they going to show at this thing tomorrow? Because you have all these games announced, you have nothing coming this year. Like what are you going to show? And I'm sure it'll be good. I'm not like trying to downgrade it, but yeah, like I'm sorry, I'm rambling here, but like I just think maybe this is like I don't want I was thinking about like I was looking at 2023 and I'm like I was wanting to like maybe do a podcast and like a week when there's all to talk about. We could talk about like 2023, but it's like fuck man, we're gonna like. Are we just gonna do the same thing we did last year? We're like, man, 2023 is gonna be the best year ever, and then we get to May 2023, and all the big games that we thought would make it. Like we had a ton of great games in the first half, and then all the big games we thought that would make it an even better year all get pushed to 2024. Like that what we're looking at here. Maybe like we just don't have the goods this year. Maybe it's, it's like everybody just kind of like, well, we've shown a lot of the games that are a while away, or like we've shown we don't want to show these games that are 2 years away. I don't know. But I like I said, like when we talked about this, Gables, we said a lot of good things. There's a lot of games here that we liked.
Yes.
But they're there. We like the problem is there's not the big AAA games, there's not like the huge like holy shit moments and this thing. But like, fuck man, I think when like I can't remember who it was, but God, what's his name? He did I think it was Geo from PlayStation. He talked about it around the time they did. Remember they used to do those PlayStation events in December.
Yes.
And like he always like on Vita, he was like the biggest Vita backer in PlayStation there. But I remember he did like an interview once. He said the best direct conference showcase, whatever you want to call it, is like, hey, we know we're gonna throw a bunch of games at you. Not all of them are gonna be for you, but like if you can come away from that with 3-4 games out of it, we feel like everybody comes away with that. I think that's a pretty successful conference or whatever you want to call it. And I'm looking at Gables. I got Callisto Protocol. That's one. Witchfire. That's 2. Routine. That's 3. Fort Solace. That's 4. Replaced. Well, I guess I wasn't shown there. American Arcadia. That's 5. Cuphead DLC. That's 6. Shredder's Revenge. That's 7. And Last of Us Part 1. That's 8. Like, there's 8 games out of there that are like, I'm definitely, at the very least, I am excited to see more of. Like, so that's, I would say, a successful conference. But yeah, like I said, though, like a lot of talking, it just the pace was off. I wish he just made it a little faster is all. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, anything you want out of that one, Gables?
No, I think that was perfectly fine.
Sorry, I thought I'd have a chance to take my beer. I chug it real fast. All right, Gables. Well, we only spent a little over an hour on that one, so we got to rapid fire through the rest of these here. So,
got it.
Gables.
Yes.
Stick with PlayStation for a moment. God of War apparently is planned for November of this year. So, this is from Jason Schreier. So, the Snitch also, when he talked about when he leaked the Last of Us date, he also leaked that God of War Ragnarok was pushed to 2023. Jason Schreier said that he talked to somebody, and they said, as far as I know, it's still this year. Then on Friday he put on Bloomberg he put a article out talking about it, and as of right now, it is still scheduled for November. Now it was originally supposed to be September, and that was my original guess was September 2nd. If you
yes,
go back,
and there was evidence to support that it may have been aimed for a September release because there was merchandise that was scheduled to be released during that time period. Yes.
Yeah, and my original thing was like that's the Friday before Labor Day, and they've shown in the past that they put games out in that time period. That's usually the latest they put big first party games is usually that Friday of like Labor Day weekend, which I'm like, that's fucking perfect time to put God of War out for me. So apparently that was, maybe this is like, that's filling the date. Maybe those games flopped. I don't know. Or flip-flopped around. I don't know. But he did say though, he said that they plan on revealing it the end of the month. Tom Henderson did put out a tweet saying that he's also heard the same thing, that basically it sounds like there's a state of play that's ready and ready to go for this thing. That's kind of something I've talked about like for a long time now. There's going to do a big state of play and reveal everything, but then like I started buying into the hype that it'd be at the Summer Game Fest, which obviously didn't happen. But it sounds like that we should get a confirmation the last week of June.
Okay.
It might not be a full blown state of play, but at least we should probably get a date here in the next couple weeks. So that's saying, just give me a goddamn date. I mean, if it gets delayed, it gets delayed. I'm not gonna be mad about it, but it will be it'll be a bummer. Like I'll be bummed. It's like it's like I don't know, like I'm not mad, but I'm bummed about it, but like, take your time on it. Obviously, if it doesn't happen this year, it doesn't happen this year, but god damn it, I just want it so fucking bad. Just give it to me, please. I'm begging thee, please give it to me. And if I gotta wait till November, hey, that sucks, but hey, I'll boot Pokemon Scarlet to the side. A LeChonk, you can wait a minute. I'll come back to you. I'm playing goddamn God of War. But yeah, I don't know. Gables, anything you want to add on that one?
Oh, no, I'm perfectly fine in that regards. We will see towards the end of this month.
All right, moving on here, Gables, to motherfucking, there might be a Nintendo Direct on June 15th. So we've heard some like Jeff Grubb has kind of talked about the last month or so that he's like he's like I can't say this with like a lot of like confirmation. But he's heard some rumblings that they might not do directs, but they might just do a bunch of stuff throughout the month of June instead. Like kind of like what we had like Xenoblade and Splatoon, I think last month or in April, where we didn't get directs, but they just dropped trailers with dates, and we might get that instead, where there might just be like smaller things here and there for this, and maybe that's what we get with some more like Twitter stuff, like we've seen with like Xenoblade and Splatoon. They've been doing like more tweets about the games, giving out more information. But there was an email that was sent out to some people that there was the game that's under review, that's in review process, was under NDA, but that email itself was not NDA'd, saying that they can't. It will be announced. This game will be announced with a really. Or they'll have the release date, and you can't talk about the game until June 15 at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And that game turned out to be it was supposed to be announced at Nintendo Direct. Is what they said in the email. And like someone showed a screenshot of the email, but like blacked out all the like what the game was and who the email was from. And then people just turned the contrast up real high, and then come to find out it was neon light or neon white rather. Sorry. Yeah. So like I said, apparently the people, I guess journalists and some devs like no one's publicly confirmed it, but like, hey, yeah, this is true. I'm under NDA for this, but people have talked to people that are under NDAs, and they have confirmed that this kind of lines up that so people are under NDAs for this game. So yeah, so that's apparently that's going to be at this thing, and this has strictly been shown at Nintendo Directs.
Yes.
Or Directs or Indie World events, whatever you want to call them. But the fact it was at Summer Game Fest, we got a release date for that. Maybe that kind of puts a damper. Like I was like fully on board. Hey, like maybe this is gonna. Okay, cool. We're getting a direct next week, and then it was the release date was revealed at the Summer Game Fest. So maybe it was just a misinformation there about someone the person that sent the email kind of misunderstood or didn't fully understand it. Like, hey, no, it's actually gonna be at the Summer Game Fest and not a direct. So I don't know. What about you, Gables? What do you feel? Are you thinking there's a direct next week?
I think that we don't really need to think hard too much about it. So I do feel like that there is going to be a Nintendo Direct next week. And even so, the person that went through and leaked this was incredibly stupid because, for one, they did that to try to go forth initially to get that whole aspect. Oh, hey, try to prove, hey, there's going to be a Nintendo Direct next week by showcasing that they are under an NDA.
Well, no, they're not under an NDA.
No.
The email, so the people are under an NDA for the game review.
Okay.
But the email that was sent out about the game.
Right.
So the person asked, don't say anything, I guess, to a bunch of people, but they weren't under an NDA about it. So they definitely burnt a bridge, but they didn't break any rules.
That's true.
So if there is no direct next week, it definitely backfired on them. But if there is, you got a big scoop, I guess. But you burnt a bridge.
Absolutely. Because now Annapurna is not going to communicate with that dude any longer.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully that person that sent the email doesn't get in trouble because I don't. But yeah, I think so. You know, people were like on Friday afternoon, were like, flipping out. Hey, where's the Nintendo Direct at? And I'm like, and people got to remember, like, Nintendo is in Japan.
Yep.
So Friday here is a Saturday there. So the earliest we're gonna get like an email or a confirmation about a Direct. Maybe a Sunday afternoon, which I don't think they would do.
It'd be Monday.
Or like if the latest in a week they would announce a Direct would be on a Thursday because that's Friday in Japan.
Right.
So I figured like my feeling was like well, we don't hear anything Thursday afternoon. It's not happening. They're not going to announce it then they won't announce it this week.
They've done it a week in advance. So they've done it like a date in advance.
Yeah.
In a few days.
Like last year they announced it on June 2nd. That they were having it, or June 2nd or 3rd, and it was like on the 12th, I think, or the 13th. I can't remember the exact date, but it was basically like 10 days in advance.
Right.
But we've had this where like a lot of times they do it 2 days in advance or a day before, or we've had them more recently now. They've just dropped them without telling anybody. So I wouldn't be shocked. Maybe it's a mini Direct. Maybe it's a partner showcase. Maybe it just isn't one. Because I was thinking like, man, they got a lot of games they can announce here, like, or like not announce, but there's a lot of games that without dates. And I kind of went back and looked at it. I'm like, well, no, maybe there's really not now. There's like, okay, there was Bayonetta, or no, I'm sorry, there was Xenoblade, there was Splatoon, but those got dates now. They just dropped trailers for those ones.
You have
Just
nothing
Shadow
really
dropped the
in
trailer.
October too much. I mean, you have the Pokemon
Yeah,
stuff in November, but
yeah, but
there's still like some.
nothing in August.
There are definitely some loose ends they would have to go forth and tie in. Going through a lot of the Nintendo rumors and stuff like that, especially if you want to try to hold with a grain of salt the one user by the name of Samus Hunter and stuff like that, that goes into that went into like some form of detail over the past like week and a half and stuff about Nintendo finishing up the last of their subsequential like last minute advertising or releasing of stuff, like say with Mario Strikers Battle League and like the Fire Emblem 3, like that Fire Emblem Warriors like demo, that Three Houses
Yeah, that
style
game's coming out
one.
in 2 weeks, I think the 24th.
But yeah,
So
basically the word of mouth was like Nintendo going through and just settling what they have initially on their backlog and stuff like that, so they can focus all in on going through with the current direct. That's the current rumor that I've been hearing to little bits about. But like I've said before, to try to reiterate, I do feel like there is going to be Nintendo Direct next week in some form. If it's going to be like on a Wednesday or a Thursday, I'm not 100% sure. But
mm-hmm.
that's just basically from what I have initially have thought about in regards to how Nintendo has been handling it for like the past, some odd years and stuff, with the exception of 2020. But I could also see them doing like a mini direct, say for Splatoon 3 and Xenoblade Chronicles 3, considering those are highly going to be coming up, especially Xenoblade 3 next month.
Yeah,
I mean,
um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't, I just that's kind of my point. Is like they don't really have that many games left. Like the only games that have 2022 release dates that we don't have dates for are Bayonetta 3, Advance Wars, which was
Mm-hmm.
it's done. It's just when are they going to put it out? I'm thinking maybe December for that. It was originally supposed to come out last December, so maybe they just stick it in December. Oxenfree 2, which I know is not a first party game, but that is a game they have heavily shown before.
The
And
potential rumors potentially for possibly Zelda, possibly something Metro related,
yeah,
maybe.
there's the Metroid Prime remaster that's in the
They're
works that
sitting on
is a 20th.
completed games. I mean, that's
Yeah,
something we already
Prime.
know about, but which
Yeah,
ones?
yeah, Metroid Prime. The 20th anniversary is this November. Yeah, there's the Zelda remasters of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, maybe. Um, Mario plus Rabbids, but Ubisoft has been the ones that they've announced the game. They announced the first one at their showcase.
Yes.
They announced the second game at their event, and we know there's not a Ubisoft forward this June, but they might still have one this summer, and then maybe they want to show it. They want to give the release date. So yeah, there really isn't that much stuff they personally need to announce. So maybe we just do get trailer drops instead of a direct. I would obviously
That's
we want one.
possible. Yeah.
So like I'm not like I could. That's why I think like a mini or like we've found out in the past like they've had like 2020 we had like a partner showcase. We had a ton of partner showcases. That was just like nothing happening 10-12 minute
Right.
things where there's just ports of other games coming to Switch finally. Um, and we hear about that all the time, like these state of plays and these partner showcases that we have from Nintendo, where they show these and it's like, why was this a thing? And it's like, oh, because they have um, part partner deals with these people. We're like, hey, well, we're gonna show these games at a direct or a state of play before your game comes out. And it's like, okay, well, legally they have to put them in a direct. Well, we don't have anything to show. We'll just make a fucking third party one then, and we show it. And then I think that could be the case as well. So no, I'm trying to just not to get like super hyped up. Like I want to believe there's gonna be one. I feel it's like X Files here. I want to believe. Um, but yeah, I hope so because if I even if it's just like a mini one, like a 15-20 minute one, and it's like we got some. I want to see more of Bayonetta. I want to like Mario plus Rabbids is like the one game that other than God of War that doesn't have a release date that's supposed to come this year
Right.
that we'll know about. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm just gonna hope it's maybe I'm just hoping more than I think it's actually gonna happen, but I don't know. I believe. I want to believe at least. But Gables, I'm gonna go real fast here because we are going along.
Okay.
I have not played too much this week. I started playing Hellblade on Game Pass.
Yes.
Again, I love that game. I played the game like it was one of my top 5 games of 2017. I'm replaying it. It's on Game Pass. The game is still fantastic. I played like an hour and a half of that. I'm gonna play through that again, but I'm playing it now. Like last time I played on like $10 headphones. I'm actually using my like really good headset. And holy shit, that game is awesome with the 3D audio,
Mm.
Dolby Atmos, whatever you want to call it. Fantastic. Recommend that game because it's like you have to stay close to the voices talking to you and like you can actually hear them like all around you. It's awesome. Another game though I did play. It's also on Game Pass. Came out just a couple months ago. I've been wanting to play it for a little while now. I just haven't got around to it. It's a game called Memoir Blue. It's like a 45-50 minute game. This is actually it's an Annapurna game, so I knew it right away. It's kind of like Devolver Digital, like those games. Like they're different style. They make different style games, but when those games come out, they're almost always quality games. They're maybe not like 10 out of 10s, but they're always worst case scenario. It's a 7 out of 10. So this is a like I said, it's 50 minute game. It is a interactive storytelling game where you play as there's no voice acting or anything like that. It's all told through just animation and action. I love the art style of it. It's kind of like a they got like a um, cartoony style, but then like the like it's like it's about a woman that like she's like a looks like she's like an Olympic medalist
Right.
swimmer, and like it's her like you through flashbacks you see her like during the flashbacks it's more like oil painting style where it's like her like and it's all trying like almost like a Fantasia type thing where there's music and stuff like that where people remember that movie but it's like trying they're like telling a story of like this woman like as a girl like she like like her mom was like they're in like like an abusive relationship and they ran away and they grew up and they were really close and then over time they just kind of grew apart and like her mom became so focused on other things and like she ran away and like it's kind of like she's like she got really dove into like her like swimming and became like a gold medalist and it just she's just never happy and it's all about this whole thing of like I don't want to spoil it like it's hard not to spoil because it's a story game it's a story based game it's like in like the gameplay is very minimal you're just kind of like a lot of times just moving things around
Right.
um like sometimes you're just moving leaves out of the way or you're moving a boat to one section to the other or you're just like painting over something but it's all I guess it's based off a poem but it's all about this woman like as an adult looking back and trying to go back basically not trying to go back but like looking back upon time with like and dealing with the grief and the anger of like the terrible relationship she's had with her mother as a child all the way to being a full grown adult and trying to get past that and acceptance and find a way to love her mom and I have no idea like doesn't really explain like if like the mom has died or if like they like what happened. I don't like I said, oh, I'm trying to spoil anything, but I thought this game emotionally was fantastic. I love the way the game was told. The music was really good, and by the end, I was in fucking tears. So I thought this game connected me really good. It's not like this is not like a one of the greatest storytelling games of all time or anything like that. But I thought it was like a really fun game. It's a super easy 1,000 achievement points. If you want that too, if that does anything for you. Like I said, it's like 45-50 minutes, but I really like this game. Um, I think it's very well done, and I need to go figure out the soundtrack to this game because I love the music in that game. But that's the only thing I've really played this week. Gables, what about you?
Okay, so I've played a little bit of odds and ends and stuff like that. I did decide to play a little bit more of like the after game of like Kirby and stuff like that. I went through the entirety of like World 2, been that alternative sort of like world and stuff that's been sucked up and stuff by that last main boss and stuff. And I have been really loving in regards to how they've been remixing a lot of the stages so far. Like originally, you go through the 7 different stages and stuff, and you do whatever, and those 7 different worlds, I mean, and then their corresponding stages, and all of a sudden you get the like the remixed stages and stuff inside the separate alternative world after game and stuff. World 2 was pretty cool. I got most of those little collectible bits of that one dude's soul or something like that inside of one go and stuff. I think I only have maybe 1 or 2 that I'd missed that I had to retrack and go back. But the difficulty spiked up a little bit more in that regards. It actually is pretty cool to where it feels like that they didn't just cheap out in regards to difficulty esque type of stuff, especially towards the end portion of that thing when you get to face off against like the main particular boss on that one, which was that tropical woods one. Oh my god, dude! It's like you think that one thing before was a little bit difficult, you know, with the branches and stuff, and the roots and stuff, and the little fence that pops up. No, this dude has alternating sort of like breaths that he goes forth and exhales and stuff like that, and it's in a different freaking pattern, and it's a little bit more scattered and stuff, and it's freaking like a hard mode with this stuff, and I am loving every bit of that. You know, it really feels intense. It really feels like you're having to work to try to beat the boss and everything. So I've done that, but yet I did go through and play a little bit more of a couple of different pickup games upon the Switch's online service. So I went through the Super Nintendo app. I looked through. I categorized a lot of the games in there. I was like, okay, which one of these ones do I want to try out that I haven't played before? And there were a couple of ones that I decided to go through and do. I played a little bit more of that Natsume Championship Wrestling game that's on Super Nintendo. I went through that initial thing again and stuff. The gameplay is pretty fun. It's like a mixture of Fire Pro Wrestling and stuff like that, to where when you do an initial contact with your opponent, you can actually hold the directional pad in a certain direction plus a corresponding button press and stuff, and it'll do a specific moves. And so here I am, is like playing as a character called the Phantom, and I'm delivering like a powerbomb symphony upon basically all these fucking opponents here and there and stuff. I'm like, and I'm literally doing that. I'm literally doing it to where they have maybe a chunk of life left, and I'm like, okay, it's time for a powerbomb symphony. He's like, one, two, three. I think I literally did like about one time it was actually 10 to 12 power bombs or something, trying to pin somebody, and they end up kicking out. I'm like, what the fuck? And, playing a little bit of that. I played a couple of games that were import games. So one of them was Super Puyo Puyo 2, which is the precursor to the game that released on Switch a couple of years back. Plus, its sequel has released. I haven't still tried. It's
Still can't say the name. Still can't. I can't. My mouth won't let me do it.
So basically, I went through that Super Famicom game, and yeah, the thing can be tough as shit, and it can be unfair in specific points because that AI will literally try to pile on a whole bunch of different like jelly pieces, you know, like they're basically these little puzzle pieces, right? But they are structured after like different colors of jelly or something like that. So you have green, red, blue, yellow, purple, and you're trying to match them and try to build up enough junk on that you send over to your opponent's side, opponent's board and stuff, and the most junk. If you fill up the entire board on their side and stuff, you'll win. But if they do the same thing to you, you lose and stuff like that. So that was like about 27, 28 stages. And it was basically sort of like a climbing tower aspect. You know how like with Mortal Kombat 2, how that does that whole climbing from the bottom all the way to the top so you can face off against, I think it's either Shao Kahn or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, it's kind of a similar aspect to this one, but what's hilarious about this one is like the last opponent that you face is Satan. And it's literally like it's a tongue in cheek, sort of like a whimsical, sort of comical little game in and of itself. So you'll face against angels, you'll face off against various little yokai stuff, you'll face off against a fish that has human arms and legs, and it's kind of a Nightmare Fuel-esque type of shit. But I played through that, and I also played through another puzzle game by the name of Magical Drop 2. It's also a Super Nintendo game. That one was in English, but it was kind of different. It was more like a bust and move style of game, to where, you know, where you have Bub and Bob and stuff, like launching these little orbs and stuff, and you try to get going through different puzzle stuff, like puzzle lines, you know, depleted and stuff, and then you go on to the next one and stuff. It's sort of similar to that. But yeah, I went through that one. I also beat through its single player mode as well, using the various save states. They're like both of those games I'd never played before the beginning of this week, but I ended up going through those. As I stated before, I recategorized a lot of stuff with the Super Nintendo stuff because I was just looking for something that was just easy to play through before I can go to sleep. Because work definitely was a lot this week in regards to doing specific tasks and stuff. And when I came home, I'm like, I don't really feel like I want to play in depth with anything, not Destiny 2, not like any other type of games that I'm remotely interested in. I just want to lay on my bed and want to play on my Switch, and that's exactly what I ended up doing. So that was it pretty much for this week.
Oh, very cool, Gables. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching this as it comes out, thank you for that. That's fast.
Absolutely.
Um, if you're listening to this, or if you're watching later or listening later, or whatever, please go back, check out, please, on the links down below. Click on the YouTube link if you're listening to us, or even if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe, like, all that fun jazz. And keep an eye out on this YouTube channel, because we're going to be pumping out a lot of content over the next few days here. We're going to be reacting to the Microsoft or Xbox Bethesda showcase tomorrow. Um, we'll be doing a separate podcast with our thoughts on that. That'll come up. So we'll have two things out for on YouTube. There will be a podcast version, at least for audio listeners. On Monday, we'll be doing a react to the Capcom event. Hopefully, that's better than last year's. And we'll be doing a podcast of that as well. And if there's a direct, if we're able to, we will do a react. I'm off next week, so I should be able to. If Gables is ready, willing, and Gable, he will join me for that. But who know? Obviously, who knows? Especially with we don't know if it's happening. And then possibly I might do the Final Fantasy VII one. Only strictly because I'm hoping there's a Final Fantasy 2 remake 2 thing. But yeah, that's what's going on with us. Like I said, look in the show notes. You'll have links to everything that we're at. But if you're an audio listener, please click on the YouTube link, subscribe, ring the bell, all the fun jazz, all the things the other people tell you to do. Because we're really focusing a lot more now on the YouTube channel, and we really appreciate if you come and join us. So thank you guys so much for listening. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, remember FTR is better than the Young Bucks.
Yeah, goddamn right. And hey, Gables.
Yes.
Enjoy your gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Bye, guys.
See ya.